What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a trip down budget lane and look at some of the best budget knives I think you can go out and get right now, and I'm super excited to get into it. Now, a decent amount of these knives do belong to me, but I did have a few sent out to me from my friends at Rivers Edge Cutlery, so thank you, Rec, for making this video possible. Now, my goal in making this video is to provide a varying list of options of knives. So while some are closer to the $100 mark, others will be closer to the 50 and even sub 50 range. And in addition to that, I try to provide knives that varied in sizes, handle materials, and things like that. So without further delay, let's just jump right into it with the first knife on the list, which is the Spyderco Delica 4, coming in at $88. The Delica 4 has an overall length of 7.12 inches with a blade length of 2.87 inches, which is great if you're looking for something in the sub 3-inch category. The VG10 blade steel has a full flat grind and satin finish. The backlock secures the blade while open and has an ambidextrous 4-way pocket clip. The Delica 4 weighs 2.3 ounces and is made in the Spyderco factory in Seki City, Japan. This Delica 4 has purple handles, but they also offer it in a pretty large selection of handle colors as well. What I love about the Delica 4 is the size. Oftentimes, people don't need a giant knife for everyday use, and the Delica 4 toes the line of full size and compact. The only downside to this variation of the Delica is that the VG10 blade steel is looked down upon by many and viewed as quote-unquote outdated, which I would kind of agree that it is, and I personally don't own anything in VG10, but I'll be honest with you, it still cuts, and it is great to practice sharpening on if you are wanting to get into that. It's a good entry steel to get good at with. What I think is great about the VG10 is its corrosion resistance. According to Knife Steel Nerds, it comes in at a 7.5, which is better than D2 at 4.5. And while further comparing the two blade steels, VG10 has a toughness of 4 and edge retention of 4.5, whereas D2 has a toughness of 3.5 and an edge retention of 5. So those are pretty compelling numbers if you ask me, but I'm not a metallurgist. I just review knives on YouTube. If you are interested in other blade steels in the Delica 4 line, there are different configurations out there that are worth considering, but they will put you in the plus $100 range. I personally have a Knife Joy exclusive Wharncliffe Delica 4 in 20 CV, and I really enjoy using it. Now, sticking with Spyderco, next we have the Dragonfly 2 at $73. The Dragonfly has an overall length of 5.56 inches with a blade length of 2.25 inches. It also has a VG10 blade and full flat grind with a satin finish. It also features a backlock with ambidextrous pocket wire clip, which I think is great. It weighs 1.2 ounces and is made in the Spyderco factory in Seki City, Japan. This one has black handles and, like the Delica, comes in a plethora of colors. The Dragonfly is a great little pocket knife, and I even gave one away when I hit 500 subs a few months ago. It was the Cutler Shop exclusive that glows in the dark. It's the perfect little non-assuming knife for opening packages, letters, or whatever. It's built with ergonomics in mind and will just mold to your hands so well when you're holding it. Having slightly larger hands though, my pinky will hang off the back of it, which I'm not really fond of, but I'm really being nitpicky here. But I'm not using it for long periods of time cutting stuff. If I were, I would choose a completely different knife. But like I said, the knife is great for opening, cutting something, then closing it right back up. If I were to make one suggestion though, if you were considering buying the Dragonfly, it would be to save up a little bit more money and go for the K390 version at $106. You'll get far better cutting performance out of it compared to VG10. Next, we have the CRKT Pilar II on the cheaper end at $39. The Pilar has a 2.63-inch satin 8CR14 MOV sheep's foot blade with both a thumb hole and flipper tab. On the show side of this version, it has a black G10 scale, but it is also available in a satin stainless steel version. Stores like Blade HQ also offer exclusive versions of the Pilar with D2 blade steel, OD green, G10 scales, black wash finishes, that kind of stuff. The CRKT Pilar is made in China. I've had this knife for almost 7 years now, and it is still a really good knife in my opinion. What I like most about it are the ergonomics and the blade shape. It fits really well in the hand, and I'm a sucker for almost anything with a sheep's foot blade. The frame lock has never failed me, and it is also a knife I have learned how to sharpen on. The downside to it, though, is that it does stick out of the pocket just a little bit, but again, I'm being nitpicky. I do prefer deep carry pocket clips. Overall, I think the Pilar is a really good budget option if you can get it in the Blade HQ exclusive version for $50. I say go for that one. You're still under $100. D2 is better than 8CR14, and OD green looks cool if you are really into that. Jumping back up to the $100 limit is the Kershaw Blur. The Blur has a blade length of 3.4 inches. It has a stonewash CPM S30V blade, and overall it is 7.9 inches. It has a black anodized handle featuring Track Tech inserts for added grip. The Blur weighs 4 ounces and it is made in the USA. Now, the Blur is the largest knife in this video, and I would say might be the most bang for your buck knife too, potentially. S30V is a good blade steel. It might not be as tough, but it holds a good edge and it is just as corrosion resistant as VG10. What makes the Blur unique, though, is its slightly recurved blade and its assisted opening. It's the only one in this list, in this video, that has assisted opening. A design feature I like is how the thumb studs are shaped. I find it's a bit easier to engage the opening of the knife than your normally shaped thumb studs, which are more rounded. It has a liner lock that feels solid and a reversible pocket clip. This next knife took the world by storm a few years ago, and I still think it's a great budget option in 2023, and that is the Civivi Elementum, starting at $49. The Elementum comes with a 3-inch blade. It has an overall length of 7 inches, and it features a deep carry pocket clip. So from those specs, the Elementum then can go in a lot of different directions. The blade finishes can be satin, black stonewash, gray stonewash, and instead of D2, there are Damascus blades and 14C28N. There are even Tonto blade-shaped versions. And as far as handle materials, the one that I have in this video is brass, but the Elementum comes in a variety of color G10, crazy wood handle options, carbon fiber, or micarta. If you're not into flippers or liner locks, then they even make a button lock version, and hey, if you don't even like folding knives, and they even make a fixed blade version, so you have that going for you. Other than one or two exceptions, all these variations come in under $100, which make it a great knife to go on this list. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's my video, my rules, because even though it's $108, I'm putting the wee Banter on this list because it is that good of a knife. It has an overall length of 6.52 inches, so it is a very pocketable knife just like all the other knives on this list, and also has a sub 3-inch S35VN blade, so you're getting a knife that has really good edge retention and toughness as well as corrosion resistance. The Banter is just a really good, simple and designed knife, and that's what Ben Peterson went for when designing it. It has several flavors as well, so with different color G10 scales and even a carbon fiber and micarta version. I have the black version with a black stonewash blade, but there are also satin finish blades as well, as a nice deep carry pocket clip that is not reversible, but it fits really comfortably in the hand, and I think it's a great knife. Now, if the Banter is too big in size and the price is still too high for you, then you might want to check out the baby Banter at $59. Now, it keeps a lot of the same design as the Banter, but it shrinks it down to a really small but mighty form factor. The Nitro V steel might be a little lacking in edge retention, but it makes up for it in toughness and corrosion resistance. The ergonomics are really great on the baby Banter, and its size compared to the Dragonfly are very similar, but where the Dragonfly lacks in a full-handed grip for me, the baby Banter picks it up. I have owned several versions of these in different colors and mainly just colors because they're all Nitro V, but I plan on having at least one in my collection because they're that good, they're that useful, and they're that non-assuming that I just love handing it to people. Now, to round out this list, we have the NAFS Lander, which is also another Ben Peterson design, and it comes in at $58. Keeping the simplistic style of the Banter and baby Banter, the Lander is truly remarkable in my opinion. Now, from a spec standpoint, nothing really jumps out about it. It has an overall length of 6.4 inches with a 2.75-inch D2 drop point blade, and it has a liner lock with a deep carry clip that is reversible. Now, what makes the Lander really cool is the approach Ben took to the world of knife customization. The scales on the Lander are easily swappable, and there is a market for replacement scales. So if you don't like the black or blue scales that come with it, head over to nafs.com or Rivers Edge Cutlery and check out their selection of scales. But if you don't like those and you want to make your own, well, what's really cool is if you head over to nafs.com, you will also find a CAD file for the Lander scales. And if you have a 3D printer, you can come up with your own designs, which I think is really cool that he's just freely giving that out there and just letting people go crazy because he just wants to see the crazy things that can happen with it. So I think that is, again, why the Lander is probably my favorite on the list, even though it's not technically the best. I think it's just a really cool thing, and it's almost like a gift to the community of, here's the knife, do whatever you want with it. Here's a file, make scales, do something cool, I dare you. So again, I think the Lander might be, out of all of these, my pick. What's funny though is that I don't own this one. This one was actually one of the ones that Rivers Edge Cutlery sent to me, so maybe I'll send a message saying I might keep it. Who knows? But yeah, I really like the Lander a lot. I think it's a really cool knife. And there you have it. Those are 8 budget options for you. And I understand that there are a lot of options out there. So if I didn't mention one that you are a huge fan of, let me know in the comments down below what it is and why you like it. But I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Links to everything will be in the details down below. Thank you again, Rivers Edge Cutlery, for sending out these knives. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you in the next video.